Coming up on about, I don't know, a year to 8 months, I've been using this knife that I'm going to review. I don't usually do a whole lot of knife reviews, but I've been using this one for a while, and I always said I was going to do one, so I'm going to do it. This one is the Blind Horse Knives Boat Tail Scandi. I always like the look of it. I think it has real clean lines. It's a good looking knife. I didn't know if I was going to like it at first, but I ended up really liking it, and I'll probably carry it some more. To start off with, the handle is right at about 4 and 3/8, and the blade is at about 3 3/8. So that right there tells you it kind of lends itself to you know, woodcraft, bushcraft type stuff. Not your typical knife when it comes to what you'd think was a super hard use knife, but it is a tough little knife. The handles are made of micarta. There is no choil. If you have trouble with your hand slipping on micarta, this could give you a problem. There's a couple of reasons that I wrapped this wax sewing line on here. One of them was to get a better grip, because I actually did have it slip a couple times. I never cut myself, but I had it slip a few times, and also for sheath retention, and I'll talk about that in a second. But like I said, it's a Scandi grind, carbon steel. I'm not quite 100% sure what the steel is. To me, that's really not a big deal, but I will tell you this. This thing gets super sharp, but I found that it dulls up fairly easily, which tells me it's kind of soft. To me, that's not a deal breaker. It just means you have to sharpen it up a little bit more, and it just means you have to pay attention to the edge a little bit more. I really like the way that the different handle positions you can put your hand on here. Like I said, I've never had any trouble once I put this this fishing line on here, or sewing line, tick. But one thing that I would like to see some of these knife makers start doing is, and I saw Koster does it, I don't know if he does it anymore, but one of the original his bushcraft knives I saw one time, they had micarta, which I love because it's bomb proof, and then he bead blasted it or sand blasted it, and it was canvas micarta, and it made it really grippy. I mean, even when it was wet or bloody, it was real grippy. This one I have not cleaned any animals with, but I wouldn't have trouble with it at all. It ended up getting a patina on its own just from use. I didn't force the patina or anything like that. I've used it I've built probably close to 100 fires with it. Probably 10, 15 bone drill sets, 2 or 3 hand drill sets with it. Performed well. I've batoned with it. I've used it in several classes I've taught. It's performed very well, but like I said, it took a little bit of sharpening. I'll show you a few things that I like about it here when we get a little bit more of a close-up picture. All right, now that we got a little bit closer, I think you can see what I'm talking about on wrapping that sewing line on there. Like I said, I think I got it out of a Speedy Stitcher. It's that type of line, kind of a twisted, waxy nylon line. I'm sure anything would work just fine, but that's what I had to do for me. And also the sheath, now you notice it doesn't fall out, but without that, I actually was out deer hunting and this fell out of the sheath when I had it on my belt. So that made me rethink, once again, putting something on there. I did put it on there. Now it works just fine. Haven't had any retention issues at all with it. The sheath on this knife, really nothing special about it, but nothing wrong with it either. It's just a basic knife sheath. One thing that I did do with it is in the winter time, if I'm wearing a lot of clothes, sometimes I net carry my knives. I did actually net carry this a while. It's got a screw on the back of it. I just unscrewed it and then ran a piece of 550 cord through it, or cord with a cord lock on it, and then I could wear it as a neck knife. A little heavy for a neck knife, but still it works real good either way. So the sheath, it's okay. Nothing special, but nothing bad about it. But once again, I think this the thickness of this blade is about 1/8 of an inch. Once again, I'm not a real big, super detail-oriented guy when it comes to this type of stuff. I know some people are, so if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. but it's performed very well. You can see the back of this is pretty beat up, and the reason for that is I like to be able to show people that you can strike a spark with the back of it, and it does that very, very well. And also, one of the big things that I think a knife should be able to do is strike a fire steel. And that one throws some pretty hot sparks, especially in more of a hardwoods area where it has stuff that has, doesn't light quite as easy, doesn't have any natural resins or anything in it. It's a little tougher to get lit. I think it's a big plus to be able to take off big chunks of your fire steel to really get a fire going. So Firecraft performed great. Like I said, I didn't clean any animals with it, but Campcraft, I've batoned the crap out of this thing. It's worked perfect. I've driven it tip first and been able to take out chunks of wood. You can see right there, this is not exactly the toughest wood, but it just digs them right out. No trouble with the tip at all. But it's been a good little knife. Like I said, my biggest thing I would like to see is if they bead blasted these handles and make them grippier, and I wouldn't have to resort to this, putting this on there, but it's no big deal. So all in all, I think if I remember right, these knives, God, I hate to quote prices. I know I got it used, and I got it for like under $100, but I want to say they're under $200 maybe for on Blind Horse Knives. But you can go to their site and they have them. A lot of times they have monthly specials and things like that. But as far as a good, solid bushcraft knife, I don't think you can go wrong with a Blind Horse Knives Boat Tail Scandi.